The game is entirely physically based. It's basically a simulation of the island. It's a simulation of everything on the island. The player, the dinosaurs, all the objects, the plants, the ground, all the buildings and structures. And what that basically means is that you can apply your everyday intuition to everything in the game. You see something you need to get into, you can bust the door down. You can put a plank over the wall. You can do what you think you would do. Nothing is really limited. And that means that you're not solving the puzzles the designers set up. You're solving the puzzles that you see. You're not always trying to second guess what the game is doing. You're just in an environment and you're trying to solve a problem and get off of it and stay away from the dinosaurs. The thing about the dinosaurs that makes them so realistic is that they're physically modeled. And that means that instead of being animated and coming after you with some kind of animation cycles or run cycles, they're actually using their muscles and their bones to get at you. So if there's a tree in the way, they can knock the tree down and they can stumble over it. And if you run into a little house, they're going to beat their head into the house and they're going to try to rip the door off of the thing. If you're running away from them and you're throwing stuff at them, they're going to trip over it. If you run up to a raptor and you have the aluminum baseball bat that you stole off of the employee baseball diamond at the InGen town, you can beat the hell out of the raptor over the head with it, and you can beat the raptor in the leg until the leg joint doesn't work as much, and it's going to come limping after you, and it's going to be this brutal, 20-minute battle with you beating the thing slowly to death as it tries to eat you, and you're just praying that its friends aren't going to show up and get you from behind. And that's really what makes it more realistic, and that it's not always perfect. They screw up, they're going to run into trees, they're going to trip, they're going to fall down, but they are also going to do whatever it takes to come after you. I mean, you're going to be climbing up a hill, and this thing's going to be scraping, pulling friends over to get you. And you better have a plan.
Well, part of the kind of challenge we set before ourselves is to bring the look of the game to a new standard. And our thoughts on that was, if we pull from the same talent that other game companies are, we are likely to get the same kind of look. After discussing it and thinking about it a lot, our decision was to just pull from wherever we thought good artistic talent may lie and bring them up to speed on what's required of them for this medium specifically. I think bringing that fresh look and some of the lack of parameters under which to work have helped both us in expressing ourselves, but in refreshing some of the ideals that normally go into what can and can't be done into the game industry, specifically visuals.
One of the things that you run up against when you try to make a dinosaur in a game that bills itself as a sequel to Lost World is that the dinosaurs had better look really, really good. And in fact, everything in the world had better look really, really good. If you're trying to create a place that's going to be believable enough that when you see a dinosaur, it's going to scare you. And one of the best techniques that we use to do that and do it quickly is view-dependent mapping. And what that means is that we take into account not only the texture and what's on an object when we draw it, but we take into account, we actually draw the surface itself, the roughness on the surface. For instance, on a dinosaur skin, you can see the folds in the skin. And what it enables us to do is not only make things look much more realistic, but it enables us to move the light across them in a way that you don't see the polygon boundaries. You don't see the jagged edges anywhere. And overall, it gives a really amazing effect of making an object kind of jump out of the display at you. You look at things that are lit this way, not so much as computer polygon models, but more as realistic entities inside. And it's really pretty impressive.